Hi everyone, welcome to Family Sunday. We're starting a new series today. It's called A Surprising God, and it's all about how God surprises us. Our story today is about Adam and Eve. They were the first people that God ever made, and when he made them, he made a beautiful garden for them to live in. It was called the Garden of Eden. It was full of lovely fruit trees, all sorts of delicious, juicy fruit. I wonder what your favourite fruit is. Well, there was one tree, and God said to Adam and Eve, don't eat the fruit from that tree, because if you eat the fruit from that tree, you will die. Well, Adam and Eve didn't worry about that tree. They had loads of other fruit to eat from. One day, Eve was walking in the garden when she spotted a snake. The snake slithered up to her, and the snake talked to her. It said, "Did God really say you mustn't eat fruit from any of these trees?" "No," said Eve, "that's not true. We can eat fruit from any tree we like, apart from that one. We mustn't eat from that one." "Well," said the snake, "why did God say that?" Eve said, "God said if we did, we'd die. So we're not going to eat from that one." "Oh," said the snake, "lies. God is lying to you. He knows that if you eat fruit from that tree, you'll become just like him. You'll know all sorts of things. That's why God doesn't want you to eat from that tree. You won't die." "Go on," said the snake. "Try some." Eve thought about it a bit. She thought about how delicious the fruit looked and how much she wanted to be like God. So she reached up and took some. And she took a little bite, and nothing happened. She didn't die. So she took another bite, a bigger bite, and she still didn't die. She kept on eating until she'd finished all the fruit. Then Adam came past. "What have you done, Eve?" he said. "God said if you ate that fruit you'd die." "Yes, but look," said Eve. "I'm not dead, am I?" "You should try it," she said. "Go on, try some." And Adam did. He ate the fruit. They'd both eaten the fruit. Then they heard footsteps coming their way. It was God coming to walk in the garden with them. They loved seeing God and walking in the garden with him, but not today. Today they ran away. They ran away and hid. They were ashamed. "Adam," called God. "Adam, where are you?" Adam crept out of his hiding place. "Why are you hiding from me?" said God. "I was afraid," said Adam. God looked at Adam. "Have you eaten the fruit that I told you not to eat?" said God. "It was all Eve's fault," said Adam. "She told me to eat it. It wasn't my fault. It was Eve's fault." "Eve," said God, "come here. Did you eat the fruit?" "It wasn't my fault," said Eve. "The snake told me to. The snake told me to eat the fruit. It's all the snake's fault. It's not my fault." God looked at Adam and Eve sadly. He said, "Because you've done this, because you've eaten that fruit, you're going to have to leave this garden. And one day, not yet, but one day, you will die. If you hadn't eaten that fruit, you would have lived forever with me, but now you have, and you're going to die one day. Life's going to be really hard for you. You're going to have to work really hard to get your food. And Eve, one day, one of your descendants, your great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren, will crush that snake. The snake will bite its heel, but that child will crush the snake forever. I promise," said God. "I promise I'm going to send a person I'm going to send a person to put everything right again. So Adam and Eve left the garden, but they never forgot that promise of God. They passed it down and they told their children about it, and their children told their children. And soon everyone knew about God's promise, a promise to send someone to put everything right. I wonder, do you know who that person was? It was Jesus. Jesus came years and years and years later, and Jesus put everything right. Jesus defeated that snake forever. Even though he got hurt, he defeated that snake, that bad thing that Adam and Eve did, all the bad things that we do. Jesus defeated those things forever. He won. That's really cool, isn't it? I wonder, what's your favourite part of that story? Think back to the beginning of the story. I wonder, if someone told you that eating fruit from a tree would make you die, would you eat that fruit? You know, I definitely would not. Definitely not. So why do you think Eve did? And why do you think Adam did? You know, they wanted to be like God, didn't they? And sometimes it's good to want to be like God. It's good to try and act like God would act and to be kind and good and things like that. But if you want to be like God because you want to be really powerful, you want to be able to do everything and be in charge of everyone, that's not a good thing to want. Only God can do that. Only God's good enough to do that, really. It's not a good thing to want, and it didn't do Adam and Eve very much good, did it? Do you remember what Adam did when God came into the garden? He hid, didn't he? Why do you think he hid from God? When God did find Adam, he asked what had happened, and Adam blamed Eve, didn't he? Do you think that was fair? Do you think it really was Eve's fault? And what about Eve? She blamed the snake, didn't she? Do you think it was all the snake's fault? You know, it's easy, isn't it? When we do something wrong, it's really easy to blame somebody else. But the thing is, we're always responsible for our own actions and our own choices. And sometimes there are consequences to that. And just because someone else tells us to do a bad thing does not mean we have to do it. Particularly not if we know it's a bad thing. Do you remember what promise God made at the end of the story? He promised to send Jesus, didn't he? And the people had to wait a really long time. What's the longest you've ever had to wait for something? Was it worth the wait? Do you think Jesus was worth the wait? You know, I definitely think Jesus was worth the wait. He put everything right again, didn't he? He made it so that one day, if we want to, we can live forever with God in heaven. And that's how it was always meant to be. Before humans came and messed it up by doing bad stuff. But it's really good to remember that God always had a plan for that. That's the end of Family Sunday. I hope you've enjoyed it. And I'll see you soon. Bye.